That's very impressive.
I really don't know how to summarise this car because it really is category defining. Nothing compares to this car for this price.
This is unequivocally one of the best new cars to wash up on our shores in recent years. In its most basic guise, the Dolphin is the cheapest new electric car that money can buy. But work your way up the range and for 30 grand, give or take, you get a 265-mile, tech-filled, small family car with room for four and a whopping great rotating touchscreen. This is value for money personified.
Now, the entry-level models are pretty feature-packed anyway, but if you step up to the top 2 grades, then you've got things like panoramic glass roof, heated seats, faster 11 kilowatt AC charging, and loads more gadgets.
So they've got 2 flavours. One is a 30.7 kilowatt hour battery, and that gives you about 301 kilometres of range. And it goes up to 405 kilometres of range for the 44.9 kilowatt hour battery. It's remarkable that they're able to squeeze such a relatively large battery. I think about 50 kilowatt hour battery is actually pretty big. It's more than enough, really. And they managed to squeeze it in this kind of very compact car. And with battery density increasing and the price going down, cars like this, and with fast charging networks, say in China and in Europe, you really don't need that much more. Front end of this is very chunky, beefy, and quite flat as well. And I've been told that this is using some elements from the ocean as well. So apparently these are dolphin eyes in the LED headlights. Customary LED light strip at the front, like all electric cars at the moment. Looks really good, actually. We saw it a bit earlier on going through the tunnels. And then it's got these really lovely orange accents. Now, this is one of the colours you can get. There's a few others, including pink and I think a green as well.
The colours. Now, in a world of black, white and grey cars, be a Dolphin. Because look, we've got a gorgeous blue here. There's also coral pink. There's what's it called? Maldive purple? Then you've got like tricolour wheels if you go for the design spec. It's all very, very funky. I'm a fan.
There's a few things I want to point out here. So one of them is the design. So they've really started thinking ahead about the design, and it's actually really cool. So they've got 2-tone kind of paint job here. So you've got this darker grey silver and then a lighter grey silver here. It looks absolutely fantastic. These orange wing mirrors, almost forgot the name there, with the cameras in the bottom. Again, these are different colours on different models. Loving the look of these kind of flat wheels, kind of a star shape. Most importantly, this in here is what I think most people would be interested in. Though this is your charging, so you've got your fast charger, your regular charger, and your V2L. Everything's in one place in this car. It's keeping it nice and simple. Now, as we go down the side of the car, it's looking really sharp with this orange kind of detailed line down here. They haven't gone for the flush door handles, which are kind of hidden in. It's unnecessary complication and unnecessary cost. They've tried to squeeze what they can out of this car for amazing value for money. Now, as we come back, again, this back panel here has got some lovely kind of carbony fibre details on it, just looking very sharp, and shows you how much thought they're really putting into the design for those overseas markets, as well as China.
To be fair, it is not the most radically designed vehicle on the road. It kind of looks like, well, imagine me with wheels. I'm also not a big fan of the whole life coachy build your dreams logo emblazoned across the back. And a fun fact about the BYD Atto 3 is that many owners remove that from their cars because they think it looks a bit cringy, and many BYD suppliers in Western markets now offer it without the Build Your Dreams logo on the back, but not in the case of the Dolphin because it is behind that clear plastic cover, so you'd better get used to living with Build Your Dreams emblazoned on the back. But that's okay because the whole redesign of that taillight, it's worth it.
You might remember if you saw the Shanghai Auto Show footage, they had this kind of Chinese knot design 4 or 5 months ago. It's already made it to production in this car. And this is obviously the Dolphin, little Dolphin logo down here. In overseas markets, that name has not been confirmed yet. It's still being called EA1. Again, your orange details and your massive Build Your Dreams in big letters at the back. I'm not such a fan of that, but they insist on doing it, and it does make them stand out in the market. Boot space, I can't actually tell you, but I reckon that's probably about 350 litres. And you can obviously fit baby seats because it's got ISOFIX as well. Again, no fancy buttons to self-close, keeping that cost down, making sure all the tech is in the battery and the electric motor.
Now, you know I said the space in the interior is really nice and it's really roomy. That space has to be taken from somewhere, and it's been taken from the boot. It's actually quite small, 345 litres, which is tiny, and it doesn't have a frunk. So actually, if you have a mini electric, I know it might make it look cavernous, but this is quite small.
This uses the Blade batteries. Now, you might have seen the BYD factory episode that we shot a few months ago where we saw the Blade battery. At that time, they weren't using that in all of their cars. Recently, they've announced that they're using that across their whole range, and that even people like Tesla are going to be using Blade batteries or similar technology from BYD in their cars. So just as a reminder, Blade battery is one of the safest in the market. They can pass a nail penetration test without overheating or exploding or blowing up or anything like that.
Do you know how they test the safety of these things? With a nail going through it, which is crazy. And yes, it is incredibly funky in here. I mean, actually, it looks quite nice with the blue, doesn't it? There is no straight line in here whatsoever. Everything is curvilicious and very Dolphin-y. Like they've kind of thought about the name and thought about the design of the car and merged them together quite beautifully. Like you've got the dolphin fin door handles, and then you've got party trick. I still don't quite know why you would want to do that, but it's, you know, it does it, and that's kind of cool and a thing. All the interior in here is all very nice as well. This kind of feels a bit like a wetsuit, which is quite fitting with the whole dolphin theme as well. Yeah, the interior is very nice. Yep.
Decent quality here, and okay, these flipper shaped door handles, they might not be to all tastes, and nor will this colour scheme, but that's all subjective, so no black marks just yet.
Spins on its axis. Look at this! Yes, I know that's a gimmick, but I don't care. That is cool. Not only that, it's quick. In a lot of cars in the more affordable price categories, some of the screens can have more lag than a US senator giving a speech, but not this one. Look how fast that is. That is quick. Look, instant. That's impressive. Of course, you also get Appalachian CarPlay and androgynous auto, but while the Apple is cabled, unfortunately, the Android is not. It is wireless. That's not bad. Well done, BYD. Also on the gadget list, as standard, are seated heats in both the front seats, which are also fully adjustable electronically. And of course, as standard, you get what's right above me, that massive panoramic roof, which is awesome and lets a lot of light into this interior. Other stuff you get as standard, wireless phone charging. You also get a particulate matter filter included in every Dolphin. You also get a 360-degree bird's eye camera system, which is great because it makes use of that massive screen, and let's be honest, the rear window is a little bit small in this car. Plus, you also get speed sign detection, comes up here on the little display, and what's really cool about this display is that because it's mounted to the steering column, it doesn't matter how high or low or in or out you have your steering wheel, which is fully adjustable as you can see, it never obscures the screen, so you'll always see all the information you need on here.
The seats are very, very impressive. Now, we do have to say, where you park your bum is just as important as where you park your car. And these seats are very, very comfortable. And actually, in the two seats at the front, they're really supportive as well. All made from vegan leather as well, as standard. Synthetic cows. Lovely. This is a kind of car that journalists would call a C-segment car, but actually on the inside it feels way bigger than that. The space in here is really impressive. That is set up for my driving position. And look at this leg space. And I've got really long supermodel legs. I don't, they're 5', 6.5. But look at the space back here, and also the fact that the battery runs along the floor, no transmission tunnel, so you don't have to be that person that sits in the middle having to straddle a hump, you know?
The The motor picks up well, and that's the thing with these EVs. If you're coming from a small petrol engine or even a turbocharged one, it feels fast. 201 brake horsepower it's a lot. It's hot hatch territory. Certainly was a few years ago. 0 to 62 miles an hour takes 7 seconds, so this does feel like a quick car, and it's all there at the flex of your right foot. Okay, there is a very small delay. It's not as kind of aggressive as, say, a Smart Hashtag 1 or a MG4, but it's all there, and yeah, this car does feel pretty peppy.
Here we go, we're on a national speed limit road. Oh! Oh, that's much better. Yeah, that's impressive. That's very impressive.
And that's the thing, this is not a car that feels like it's been put together in a hurry. It's quiet, it's composed, the steering is pretty light, there's not loads of feedback for kind of more enthusiast drivers, but if you're using this car as intended, and that's for urban errands or, I don't know, ferrying the kids to school or even the odd motorway run, it's good, really good.
It rides really well. I mean, look, I'm driving over drains, there's a couple of potholes there. If you're living in a town where there's lots of speed bumps and things like that, you can rest assured the fact that this actually copes really well. The Dolphin surfs the bumpy roads really well.
Perhaps my favourite gadget of all is this vehicle-to-load adapter, which is included in the price of every single BYD Dolphin, and it lets you turn the car into a giant four-wheel battery bank to power your appliances. Great if you want to go camping and be one of those annoying Auckland campers that takes their big screen and coffee machine with them, or on a more practical level, you can use it to save your bacon if you lose power due to a climate-related power cut, as we found out when we took a BYD Atto 3 to a customer in need who'd lost power after a cyclone. They were able to get their water pump running again, they were able to cook their food, get their fridge going, and a lot of people used to say, well, what are you going to do in an emergency with one of those electric cars? Now I ask, what would you do in an emergency if you don't have one? Seriously, vehicle-to-load adapters, they can be a literal lifesaver.
It bing bongs too much. It's too many bing bongs. It's like lane keep assist, your speed limit. It's really difficult to turn those bing bongs off. Too many bing bongs. I'm also not really a fan of the indicator sound. It's a bit too ticky for my liking. Build quality in some places isn't the best. You've got like scratchy bits down the side, and the gear selector feels a little bit on the cheap side. I mean, it's not horrendous, but you know, I'm rattling off the things that bug me. That bugs me. Now I've driven this car here in the UK, what's my verdict? It's impressive. It is impressive. I mean, it could be cheaper, but we say that about every electric car, don't we? But look, the interior is really funky and very nice. The space on the inside is really, really impressive. It's quite nice to look at, isn't it? Because the colours are really cool. The battery is very, very clever.
I really don't know how to summarise this car, because it really is category defining. Nothing compares to this car for this price.
If you're in the market for an electric car and you're switching from a petrol car, then that's a big step. So now might be the time to turn your back on the legacy car makers that you mindlessly wander into a showroom to buy your new small car or SUV, and take a look at what's out there, because the results might surprise you.
All in all, I think it's a pretty impressive car.